Hey, Sarah. Thank you for keeping me company. Good to see you. How's your weekend going? It's gonna be just me tonight. I think JP's indisposed, so at least we still have table talk today. The 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 streak continues unbroken. Good to see more people arriving in chat. The weekend was fun. Had two board game nights in a row. Wow, you won Catan. Congratulations on. I don't know. Like, how did you play it? Like, were you manipulative, or were you like did you kind of keep your head low and just win what through development cards or through straight up um longest road, what do you call it when you get the most number of nights when you're the first to like getting 3 nights. But yeah, congratulations, and it's good to know that you had fun and a gaming filled weekend. If only all weekends were like that, no? We'll start the stream in a bit, just finalizing a couple of things. And then, yeah, we'll hit the intro and then we'll talk about the news and review. You won with cities because everyone was focused on dev cards and just let you keep building. Wow. I love Catan. I'm such a big fan of the game. We yeah, we definitely like got our money's worth with we just got the base set. Like we didn't even get any expansions. But yeah, we got our money's worth with the base set, the core set. Very suited. There was a point where we'd play it every day after work. All right. I think I'm all set on my end, so we can actually, if we wanted to, we could already we could hit the intro and get started. Oh, the expansion. Nice, nice, nice. I haven't played the Catan with the extra players expansion yet. I, yeah, I wonder sometimes like how it affects, like the length of the game. But yeah, let's hit the intro. Let's go for it. Let's get today's table talk started. I don't want to keep you guys too late either. Like not too long past 9 o'clock. I know we've all got work tomorrow. For those of you, like with a regular like 8 to 5 or 9 to 5, um, my work starts at 4:30. So yeah, definitely not gonna keep you guys too late tonight. We couldn't do table talk in the morning, but yeah, we'll talk about it more later. For now, let's hit that intro. I hit the intro just as Lance commented, "Love the Legend of Zelda music." I'm sorry, Lance. Have my music instead. I hope you like it too. Aw. Oops. Why am I still showing the topics? Well, um, first of all, I want to say thank you to my my partners in crime over at Dicecast. It's touching. Thank you for keeping me company over here in chat. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Um, I miss y'all. I I got attacked by a random encounter with a spider. It's on my back. Get it off! Get it off! I got ambushed by a big spider. Essentially, I survived the random encounter though. Naomi shoot it off. Ah, she didn't see the hi Naomi right away. That's too bad. Um, yeah, where were we? Blah, blah, blah. First up, housekeeping. I wanna say first and foremost, I had a blast running Forbidden Lands the first time last weekend, last Saturday rather, with Lance Frago of the Greasy Snitches, Marvin from Adventures Anonymous Manila, Erwin, who is a local game designer, often featured in Gamers and GMs events, and you can check out his itch.io also for his stuff. And Daryl, who is a DM who often runs games in the south of Manila, around the Parañaque area, I believe. Um, yeah, it was a blast. Running the game for that very vibrant and funny group. You can catch the replay, the video on demand, over on all the platforms we put videos up on, which include this Twitch, on Facebook and on YouTube. So check it out. It's around 3.5 to 4 hours long. Um, it's a pretty good start to the adventures. It's a pretty good start to. So Naomi's running away from the giant spiders. All right. So yeah, this is a regular night over here at my place. As things wind down, we burn off a little more energy right after dinner. Anyway, so yeah, we had an awesome first time in the Forbidden Lands. Very fun game. Of course, with any new game, like we're still feeling, um, getting the feel of it somewhat. Um, but like a lot of lessons were learned from this first one. The next episode is on November 2. So be sure to tune in then. That's a Saturday. Just like this past Saturday, we'll be starting at 3 p.m. So yeah, where we last left off was um, Lanza's character Antigone, the blood mage, just survived getting attacked by a demonic octopus in a mysterious castle that they arrived at. That seems to have a lot of history that relates to, you know, to to old kings and sorcery and demons. We'll see. We'll see how they deal with it next time. They just survived, their first trek through the wilderness and also their first combat encounter. So, our players, our heroes are learning the ropes, bit by bit. Let's see. I guess that's it for housekeeping. Um, let's dive into the news. Let's see. This is not so much like a comprehensive look at what happens, in the tabletop gaming industry, as much as it is a weekend review of things that we like. So I guess like the usually it's what me and JP pay attention to, but tonight it's just me. So this is mostly just me. No, I mean not mostly. It's really just the stuff I tend to look at. So yeah, I'm excited about a couple of these. Specifically the one that's in the title. Homeworld is one of my favorite video games of all time. Like in terms of like as an RTS game, in terms of music, in terms of presentation, the story. I love Homeworld, um, and I'm so happy. We'll get to it later, but yeah, I'm super excited for this bit of news about it. Um, oh yeah, a bit of I almost forgot, but we have a bunch of new followers. Both all across the board on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, on Twitch. I want to say thank you to all of our new followers. Thanks for hitting that follow or like button. Yeah, stay tuned. Every Monday we have Table Talk. Wednesdays or whatever Wednesdays. Mostly that's JP playing whatever game he's into, like for the week or for the month. Saturdays, where every other Saturday is gonna be the Forbidden Land stream, but sometimes we stream on Fridays, Saturday afternoons, depending on what we can put together for for all of you. So yeah, thank you. I can see the new follows on Twitch are uh, Sage Mox, Arcane Cat 12, Merlin Chaos, and uh, Jelen Genie. So thank you guys. Thank you guys for the follows. Yeah. If you enjoy what we're making here, yeah, keep tuning in. Keep sharing the link when you stream. Um and feel free to join our Discord or engage us over on Facebook and Twitter and IG. We'd love to hear from you guys. And yeah, we try to reply promptly every time. So yeah, let's get to our very first topic today. Play Without Apology is an amazing place, an amazing website where all sorts are equal as long as you're cool, and of course it's a safe space also for the LGBTQIA plus members of our community to gather. And Sarah Samonte, oh, okay. It's a yeah, it's a nice place for um it's a nice safe space for the LGBTQIA plus members of our community to gather and to be recognized, to have the spotlight shown on them. But today, Play Without Apology is shining the spotlight on Filipino tabletop RPG designers by putting together a bit of a roster, a database, if you will, of who's who. Like when it comes to creating local RPGs. Nikki timed out the restream bot. Yeah, I wonder how that happened. I don't even know how to do that, so I don't know how to undo it. Let's just hit the panic button and summon a JP into the chat. um, that's okay. I'm sure it's nothing critical to the stream. I'm not sure actually, but it'll be fine. It's all good. It's all right. Um, so yeah, it reads, in the past few months or so, the local tabletop RPG design community has really flourished and come together, blooming in adversity, producing a myriad of RPG products that are now easily accessible for many to play and explore. Uh, Coming up is a database of Filipino game designers, and this is a list that is always, that's going to keep growing. So make sure to check back here for regular updates. If you want to see this article and you want to see the link to it, all you have to do is type exclamation topics if you're watching on Twitch and YouTube. The chat bot should pick it up, but I don't know if it's been timed if that'll work since it's been timed out. But just give it a shot. It'll be yeah. You'll see a list of our topics for the day and the relevant links. Over on Facebook, I'm going to go ahead and post the links in list format. Let me do that right now for you guys. Actually, let's see. Table Talk topics. Let's go to the Facebook video, and I'm gonna put up a list of these links that we've prepped for you guys in all in one comment. Okay, there we go. All right, a neat little list of today's topics has just gone up on Facebook. So if you're watching us there, you can easily follow along. There we go. Um, yeah, let's get back to it. So the first designer up is Teresa Maria Mison, also known as Sword Prince. So her blurb reads, her intro blurb reads, "Hi, I'm Maria, and I enjoy the cross of participatory art, equitable play, and collective narrative in tabletop RPGs and live action role playing, all of which are political and catalysts for personal and collective change. It looks harmless, and that's the point. Help make chaotic, righteous, hopeful spaces by supporting her Patreon. And you can find her links to her itch.io, her Patreon, as well as her Twitter, where you can get to know her better. Bianca Canoza, also known as Momentos, is another designer. She's a proud creator of a number of games for exciting adventure, introspective discovery, and she is, uh, you can find her games over on momentos.com/games and momentos.itch.io. I am uh, last last a couple of months ago at Gamers and GM Session Zero. That was an event where it's a convention by Gamers and GMs that gathered together virtually all of the people you're gonna see here, and the people who have yet to be included in this list. It was really a who's who of local game designers who are making their own games, their own original games, mostly on itch. Other sometimes just like in zine like independent zines, which is really cool to see. Very punk. Um, Momentos, I got myself a copy of her game called Arc. It is a tabletop role playing game about unavoidable dooms. So yeah, it's I like the simplicity and the like. It's a very focused game, and I like it. You should check it out. Arc by Bianca Canoza. It's a really cool. It's a really cool yeah, really cool little RPG that I think with a little work can actually get a lot of mileage. Um, yeah, I've yet to play it, but I've enjoyed the heck out of reading it, and maybe someday soon I could run it for for some friends, and I'll report back on it here on Table Talk, I guess. Next up is Paulo Jose Cruz, uh, also known as Shibboleth. He mostly designs small games, mini RPGs, one shots that combine big power fantasies like fixing the climate emergency, guillotining the 1%, uh, radically inclusive alt histories, uh, combining those with niche motifs like 90s cartoons, Lovecraftian horror, pulp adventure, and so on. Combining these into self-contained formats like one-sheet pamphlets and half-letter zines. That's a very focused introduction. Like you really like get what PJC does with his games, and his games can be found at paulojcruz.itch.io. Check out his stuff there. What a lot of people will probably um, will probably enjoy is his game called, I wonder if it's here, Titas of Arkham. There we go. You're a group of professional women who've met for brunch at Maria Gracia Cafe to catch up with each other's lives until cultists open a dimensional rift, threatening to summon an outer god. The restaurant is under siege, and you Titas are reality's last hope. If that doesn't, yeah, if that doesn't catch your attention, I don't know what will. Um, but yeah, this is a very charming, very charming mini RPG. Check it out on paulojcruz.itch.io. Next up is Jamila R. Nejadi of Sword Queen Games. Jamie explores themes of memory, emotion, intimacy, and relationships, often with a queer lens, exploring Filipino myths and folklore and finding their place in sci fi or fantastical settings. You can get her games on itch.io. You can also follow, get to know her better and follow her design process that she puts up on Twitter over at twitter.com/temporal hiccup and support her over on Patreon. So that's patreon.com/swordqueengames and we4swords.home.blog. Um, Next up is John Irwin Kasha, who was a player this past Saturday in our Forbidden Lands RPG. He is a system hopping RPG enthusiast, and he enjoys making rules light games with a focus on emergent gameplay and no canon story or lore. So it's all, a product. It's all emergent from what you're doing in game, what you're rolling with the dice, and so on. You can get Irwin's games on his itch, mr-irwin.itch.io, or you can check out his blog too, halfminotaurfarmer.blogspot.com. His Twitter, he didn't put it on here, but his Twitter's not a mystery anyway. It's half Mino Farmer over on Twitter. You can check out, can follow him there, and check out like his thoughts that he posts frequently about. By the way, on tabletop RPGs. Next up is Nosficatu Publishing. He does deep dives into Philippine and Southeast Asian myths and culture with the goal of adapting them into system friendly RPG supplements. Um, his most recent work, I think, is Cockamania, which you can use to add cockfighting to your RPGs for whatever reason you'd want to add, fighting cocks to your RPGs. You can support him on his Patreon. That's patreon.com/Nosficatu. Binge read his blog over at nosficatu.blogspot.com or hang out with him on Twitter and get to know him better on twitter.com/BJResho. Another thing you might know him from is the Manila Encounter. The sorry about that. The Manila Encounters hashtag, which spurred a lot of creativity and introduced a lot of Filipino netizens and beyond the Philippines as well to a lot of our you know myths and legends and our brand of horror from a through a bit of a modern lens. I think it's uh it's more as with anything, like when it gets online it's out of your control. It's kind of morphed into something else. If it kind of morphed into something else eventually, but the root of it, yeah, was looking at myths, legends, I think, and our brand of horror, like through the modern Filipino lens perspective. Next up is Mangahas, and he says he likes games about memory and creativity. You can check out a copy of his games on his itch. That's mahar.itch.io. You can also witness his game design process on Twitter. So you can pick his brains about RPGs over on twitter.com/maharhar. Let's see. I think very recently released something. It's a It's called We Are a Tangled Skein, and it is a system agnostic supplement for RPGs that facilitates magic item creation through the use of textiles. So you can check that out on his um, itch.io. Yeah, it's We Are a Tangled Skein. I think that is his most recent release as of yesterday, I believe. Yeah. Next up is Pam Punzalan. She likes games that explore queerness, memory, intimacy, and redefinitions of what most considered to be normal. You can treat herself to her games over her main page. That is thedovetailor.itch.io. You can support her on Patreon. That's patreon.com/thedovetailor. And reach out to her on her Twitter. Let's check out some of her stuff on itch.io. um Her latest one is a game that is in open beta. This is called Sundo, the Second Flight. So the full beta playtest is available as of 3 days ago. You can check that out. Yeah, by going to your itch and following the links. Yeah. What is Sundo? Let's check this out. It's a role playing game about death, memories, what our dearly departed leave behind in their wake, and letting go. It's loosely designed under Powered by the Apocalypse, and it requires someone to take on the role of facilitator. If any of you guys are wondering what Powered by the Apocalypse is, it's another narrative heavy, I guess, RPG. You might know it from Apocalypse World, Masks, the Second Generation, and a lot of other like wonderful games that have come out in the past couple of years, several years. Um, anyway, players will get to take on the role of psychopomps under the command of death. What complicates this situation is that psychopomps were once mortals and do not remember their past. Carrying the dead to where they belong occasionally dislodges memories of what once was, and to remember oneself uh, is, however, against the rules. Death always comes for those who break the rules, even if the breakers belong to them, or I guess them referring to death. So at one point in the game, the players will be called upon to choose. Will they let go of who they were and stay as they are, or will they hold their memories close even if it could mean their destruction? Of course, it may be possible for their psychopomps to make their own way. Tables are encouraged to be open to anything, especially since players of Sundo build everything about the game for themselves. Interesting. So it's on open beta. The full game is up for grabs. And if you're a patron on Patreon, you do get the full game document with all of the art. Um, I'm guessing for those of you who are not patrons, uh, maybe yeah, I'm not sure. But basically, yeah, she's looking for people to playtest this game. It seems to be a wonderfully original concept. Yeah, a bit of Shinigami vibes in there. If any of you are fans of Bleach, yeah, check it out. Right now, it's at name your own price. I guess because she wants as many people as possible to try and test out her game. So yeah, if you wanna try out an original Filipino RPG that's looking for help as it um um as it makes its way to like a full final release, this is your chance. Next up, we have Sin Posadas, also known as Debata ng Manila. So she likes to make games about magic realism, about the mundane with tones of intimacy, memory, and the passage of time and the subversion of power. You can check her out on Patreon. You can support her on Patreon. That's Dewata MNL on Patreon. Her games on itch can be found at dewatamnl.itch.io. And you can also follow her on Twitter and hang out and get to know her better there. It's twitter.com/Dewata Manila with the full Manila spelled out this time. Let's check out her games on itch. We got this is one of the things we got at session 0, Succulent Sorcerers. I think we got the Cactus one, among others. So this has now been released. Actually, it's complete. Yeah. There we go. So this is about succulents, I guess. If I recall correctly, um, uh, getting up to shenanigans, in the absence of their owner. Another notable one is Across This Wasteland with You. This has been recommended to me by a couple of people already. Um, so you can check this out too. I think she co-wrote this with Pamu, the Dovetailer. Yeah, check that out. Next up is Christina, also known as Sweet Cyanide. She's just a girl that just wants to make games. You can get your hands on her games at sweetcyanide.itch.io. I think her most recent game is about those horror schools and Catholic girls schools. Yeah, a game about all Maria is a game about all girls Catholic schools and a ghost. I can check that out. She's also an artist and did the art for a bunch of other games that we just mentioned, like Kakamania and Sundo. So yeah. Um, so if you want to check out her design process and her art, go. She's on Twitter as well. Sweet Cyanid 3. Next up is Joaquin Saavedra. This is he is he is a local RPG creator who likes to create RPGs in Filipino. Um, and he celebrates our country's rich culture, art, language, myths, um, and yeah, like history overall. I'm not too good. I am ashamed to admit I'm not too good at Filipino. It takes me twice as long to read things in Filipino, but I welcome the challenge. I love the idea behind his mech game, Maharlika. I've been wanting to get it for a while now. As soon as funds free up, I might just do that. Um, you can see his games at tadhana.itch.io. You can check out his blog, wakabisa.wordpress.com. And, follow him on Twitter, twitter.com/liquorcanini. So that these are a bunch of people who are making all original local RPGs. We featured a bunch of them on Dicecast itself in the Session Zero um, game designer roundtables leading up to the Session Zero convention by gamers and GMs. You can you can check that out on our YouTube and on our Facebook. I think it's no longer on our Twitch. We should work on that. But yeah, check it out there if you want to see their thoughts on the design process as well as the publishing process and overall like what it's like to be a person creating games um, today in the Philippines. In case you want to try out making your own games yourself, there's a designer in all of us. So yeah, um, check them out. Check out this article. Check out uh, their their uh, their store pages, and check out our previous streams that featured them to get a better idea of what's going on locally in the creative space of game design. Speaking of local stuff that you want to watch out for, we're going to have what I think is the biggest D&D event yet in the Philippines. This is going to be by the Greasy Snitches. It is um, it is called Conclave 2019. It'll be held from the 16th to the 17th of November. That is a couple like 3 weeks from now. No, 4 weeks from now. Um, this is in Soler Resort and Casino, and it is an epic D&D event. Now, this is gonna be, I think, the biggest so far, and I think it's in conjunction with Manila Pop Con. So yeah, check it out. They have opened for pre-registration. You can go to ticketworld.com.ph. All right, see you, Sarah. Thank you for keeping me company. Much appreciated. Yeah, so you can check it out on ticketworld.com.ph. Um, Browse under highlights and choose Money Popcorn 2019, and get the tickets button. Click the get tickets button for the uh, the one that's labeled Conclave 2019 for Saturday or Sunday, depending on which day you want to attend. And if you're attending both days, choose any. Um, Under select your own seats, select the available seats you want to get. There are a maximum of 7 seats that can be selected at a time. To avoid any error messages, be sure to, for seats that are at the same tier, do not select seats that are in different tables. So, tier 1 means levels 1 to 4, tier 2 is levels 5 to 10, tier 3 are for levels is for levels 11 to 16. So just be sure to keep, to take note of these details so you don't get your tickets mixed up. Click add to order when you're done selecting the seats. And that's pretty much it. Oh no, not yet. Go on the shopping cart page. If you want to add more tickets, for example, if you wish to attend both days or get more seats for different tables, click continue shopping and then just repeat steps 2 to 5. All the details are on the Greasy Snitches post on the link that you can get on our Twitch and YouTube by typing in exclamation point topics, or on Facebook. The top, I think one of the first comments should have a roster of links that you can click on. So yeah, um, you can pay through if you're going through ticket. I think it's ticketworld.net. You can select from Amex, JCB, Mastercard, or Visa. So you will need a credit card. All right. So yeah, I'm not sure if they have walk-ins. If I maybe I can ask Lance or Paul, and or you can follow the event page for updates on that. I'm pretty sure they'll allow walk-ins at some point. That's usually how it goes. But yeah, follow the event page and Greasy Snitches' Facebook page for updates on this huge D&D event, the biggest yet in the Philippines. So, yeah. Speaking of big, Homeworld uh, was no, I don't want. There we go. Homeworld was a huge, like it was a game changer in terms of RTS games, in terms of what you could accomplish, like with the aesthetic, I guess, of RTS games. I certainly don't remember anything that looked as gorgeous or sounded as good, when it got released. Um, my gosh, it holds a special place in my heart. So I am beyond excited that it's getting turned into a tabletop role playing game. Because to be honest, uh, I've tried to do this myself, but it's just like since they're doing it, it's saved me the trouble, and I would just love to see this. I would love to try this. Like even, it's I'll probably like it whether it's actually good or not. Um, but yeah, I'll I'll have a blast playing this. So this was reported on Polygon by Charlie Hall. Those who have completed the original Homeworld, which first came out in 1999, it's considered to be one of the most moving and epic space operas ever told. Um, but yeah, the story, that narrative has long been barricaded behind a lengthy and challenging RTS game. Now, with the help of the team at Modifius Entertainment, its lore is being cracked wide open for a brand new tabletop role playing system called Homeworld Revelations. So, Modifius are the people behind games like Simbaroom as well. And yeah, Simbaroom is also loads of fun. The final product line, which will include a boxed starter set as well as a full-fledged core rulebook, promises to be the key to understanding Homeworld 3, which is an estimated, has an estimated time of arrival somewhere in the back end of 2022. But the team at Modifius has even grander ambitions. Not only are they thinking pen and paper RPG, they're designing it in a new and unusual way. The big concept of this, said founder and publisher Chris Birch, is you get the box at a convention and you go, we're playing this right now. You go to the bar or you sit on the carpet in the hall outside of Gen Con and you start playing. There is no prep time at all for this game. Interesting. Interesting. Okay. So is it all procedural? Do you need a DM even? The mechanics of the game itself are based on Maleficent's 2D20 system, already successfully implemented in the John Carter Warlord of Mars RPG. But the team, led by assistant line manager Virginia Page in partnership with Gearbox Software and Blackbird Interactive, is going a step further. When players open up the boxed starter set, they'll be presented with a series of envelopes. Each one will walk players and game masters. Okay, so there will be a game master through the steps of creating characters, crewing a ship, and setting out on the exodus from the desert planet of Karak. Oh, so you won't be playing Fleet Command. It's gonna be a much smaller scale thing because in the RTS you play as the commander as Fleet Command, and you're working closely mostly with the House of Sajet, who are essentially the I guess the astro engineers of the setting, the culture that you know you're playing as. It's a very clan thing. When I used to try to make hacks of this, like one of my favorite RPGs growing up was Legend of the Five Rings, which also had clans and stuff, but it's a feudal Japanese setting. I tried to mod it, to hack Homeworld into that, or hack that system to play Homeworld with, but it was always like quite difficult putting together space combat in a satisfying way. Like I think the only game I've seen done it in a way that that catches my attention is Coriolis and Stars Without Number. Yeah. Anyway, maybe Star Trek too. Also by Modifius. I haven't checked that out yet. Actually, I should check that out. It should have interesting like team based, crew based, space combat. Anyway, so yeah, each so yeah, along the way, everyone at the table, from 4 to 5 people in total, will be able to share the cognitive load of learning the systems and the lore from the ground up. Oh, that is some gorgeous art, and there's Mothership right there. Yeah, I guess like you're not playing Fleet Command, like you are the crew of the smaller ships. I wonder if you'll be able so in Homeworld, like, there's fighters, there's corvettes, there's frigates, there's capital ships. I wonder what kind of uh what kind of ships you'll be able to play. Maybe like probably everything but Mothership, you know? But not sure. I am not sure. I can't wait to find out. Um okay, let's get back to it. Scrolling down, the GM is the barrier to entry. It's really great when you are a player because even with a kind of red box thing, you show up and the GM has already read those materials. So they're teaching you how to play. So we very set Page tells Polygon. So we very much also wanted to kind of develop something where actually you could kind of show the GM how it worked at the same time. So both the GM and the player are learning the game together, I guess. Birch emphasized that the system will also take the form of a traditional core book so that more experienced players can run a campaign set in the homeworld setting they'd like. Oh, so that's just one way of playing it. And they have the other, like old school way of doing RPGs too. Okay. But the box set will be a departure from what other companies are producing. We like doing experimental here, Birch says, much like their hybrid miniatures game set in the universe of Fallout. Um, it's experimental in being a narrative war game. For this one, they are trying to be a bit experimental with the way they go with role playing games. Why should it just be a book? Why should it be a big, heavy book that's hard to translate to the table and to people's minds? The real joy for Paige is who is leading the project is opening up Homeworld's starships for the first time to allow players to tell the stories of to allow players to tell the stories of the people inside. The box set will be set um, in the same timeline as the original Homeworld. Yes, taking players along for the maiden voyage of a massive ship constructing mothership and its journey from the barren planet Harak all the way across the universe. Along the way, I like this. I'm so on board for this. Along the way, the narrative will hit all the major plot points found in that game, like Maleficus Fallout and the upcoming Elder Scrolls hybrid games. There will be rules for large scale battles, but the focus will be on the party of individuals there at the table. I would love to play the crew of, oh my gosh, Ion Cannon sounds boring because all you do as an Ion Cannon frigate is you just point and shoot, man. I would love to play the crew of like a salvage corvette. So like the guys who board enemy frigates and capital ships to capture them, for use by the fleet. That sounds like a fun time. That's like marine, special forces shit. I would love to play as that. Um, let's see. Yeah. Like Maleficus Fallout. Yeah, there will be rules for large scale battles, but the focus will really be on the crew. That's that small crew. So yeah, there's a photo of Virginia Page. In case you're wondering what she looked like. It's very easy in the RTS to kind of remove yourself from the significant loss of life, from considering what they were actually doing as a people in this huge journey they went on. That's so true. One of the things that stresses me out about RPGs is having to send people to their units to their deaths because it's just like if you worried about losing every unit, you wouldn't get anywhere in an RTS. And that is like I was really young. 1999 was I was 12. I was 12 when this game came out, and I couldn't really stand the idea of that. So I would always, you know, um, send like damaged ships back to dock. I would try to save everyone in this game when I played this game. Anyway, so when you zoom down inside one of those ships and you're focusing on a crew of people who are having to see these battles, who happen to be in them, and not from that zoomed out view, then you can start seeing the effects. Like when this particular event happened, what was actually going on inside the ship? How did this person showing up or this thing happening actually impact, on the people who were there? And this box kind of explores that. Now the lovely thing about the RTS is that it had a 3D camera because it's in space, right? It's full 3D movement, like all three axes, and you could zoom in like on from the large ships like mothership to the carriers to the slightly smaller frigates and down to the small scouts. You could zoom in to like a ridiculous like amount of closeness, zoom innedness, and the scale that hits you. It's like when the smaller fighter craft fly by the bigger ships. It's pretty amazing. It's pretty amazing. Like if you don't have Homeworld on Steam, I you can get it at a pretty cheap price these days. Sales happen all the time. If you haven't tried out this game yet, I suggest you do. Um, Deserts of Karak is the latest game in the Homeworld franchise, but don't try that. It is a bit of a more traditional RTS in that it's set on a terrestrial planet. That doesn't make it less special. Like it has its own, highlights. But try out the original Homeworld and Homeworld 2, which, it's overall like an upgrade. Like it's just They topped an already excellent like debut with the sequel. Homeworld 2 was so good. Um, Play those two games, and you'll probably be as excited for this RPG as me. Without a doubt, actually, not just probably. Anyway, like many other new projects in the Modiphius portfolio, which includes a Star Trek themed RPG, as well as the latest iteration of Vampire the Masquerade. Almost forgot about that. Yeah, they did that too. They did the latest VTM. There's no firm release date scheduled for this product line. Um, Fans who are interested in keeping track of the project are encouraged to sign up for a newsletter at the official website. I've already done that, and yeah, after you've played the games, you'll probably want to do that too. There may also be a crowdfunding effort in the future, especially considering the success of Homeworld 3's Fig campaign, which recently closed with more than $1.5 million, including nearly $700,000 of investment. We may be using crowdfunding for the big box set, Birch said, because it's going to have lots of cool components and things. But that's still kind of up in the air at the moment. So yeah, yes, very exciting. I am so ready for this, and so are these dudes to varying degrees. Um, Hang on, let me just check some stuff. Yada yada yada. Okay, okie dokie. Uh, all right. So let us go on to our next topic. We've got a couple more, but here is there is a Cubicle 7 Games is coming out with speaking of classics, Cubicle 7 Games is coming out with um another edition of the One Ring, the Lord of the Rings role playing game. And today they revealed the map of Middle Earth that they will be putting into the game. Be prepared. This is a pretty epic map. Um, like the Forbidden Lands map is great. This is, I would say, as great. It's really good. Um, so the new edition of the One Ring will see players venture to new and previously unexplored lands, and tread the well-worn paths that they have traveled for years. So they knew players and lore masters alike would need a complete map of Middle Earth. So not just um, the map where the Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit take place in, like the ones you see on like the first couple of pages of the books. Middle Earth is a lot bigger than that, as you'll see here in a bit. So to take on the mammoth task of doing this, they needed a truly gifted cartographer. So they sought out the service of the incredible Jared Blando. Jared has created some of the most memorable and iconic maps in tabletop role playing, so they knew that he would deliver a truly special version of Middle Earth, which he has done. As you can see here, there you go. Mordor is there. That means Gondor would be, I think, around here, or is it up here? Shit, I can't remember. But anyway, prime. The biggest takeaway is that, yeah, you're seeing the entire of Middle Earth. Um, yeah, area door over here, where a lot of the Silmarillion takes place, if I recall correctly. And look at that! Look at that art. Gorgeous. I love the representation of trees. It's like it's very it feels very, yeah, like very like those illustrations of, you know, of Vikings and Englishmen, very on point. Those maps, those old maps. Anyway, the keen-eyed may have noticed that this wonderful map is depicted on the slipcase for the collector's edition, picked out in Spot UV. You can pre-order the collector's edition of the One Ring, um, by following a couple of the links on, yeah, on here on this article. And watch out next week because Jacob will continue his series of articles on the new edition with a look at journeys. So okay, so a bit of hex crawl. Not, well, no hexes on these maps, but yeah, like traveling will be a part of this. A big part of this game, I guess, or a significant part of this game. Um, and they'll also share a look at the player's map and the lore master's map. So there'll be separate maps. Okay. Be sure to follow on Facebook and Twitter to keep up to date with the latest news for the One Ring. Nice. I wish I could enlarge these images, but I think you guys have a pretty good view. Yeah, really cool. I wonder if it's realistic to have like a mountain range like this. You know, that's like an incomplete like square or incomplete rectangle, just missing one side. I wonder what the odds of that happening are. Is that like realistic? I mean, you know, it's like it's a fictional setting, but I just wonder if that's if there's any like realism to that specific mountain formation. I don't know. Anyway, and finally, we have some new Unearthed Arcana for for the fighter, ranger, and rogue. So these are new playtest options. You can't use these in Adventures League games, but if you're playing homebrew, yeah, feel free to. You've got um, a martial archetype option for the fighter called the Rune Knight. The ranger gets the Swarm Keeper, and rogues acquire the Revived. So let's see what those are about. Um, One moment. Let's open up. Let's open it up. All right. So Rune Knights are pretty much fighters who have found a way to harness um, the magical power of runes and use it to boost their fighting. At third level, yeah, because it's an archetype, they get access to rune magic. Interesting. So, um, let's see. Rune magic. You learn how to use runes to enhance your gear. When you gain this feature, you learn how to inscribe two runes of your choice on weapons, armor, or shields. What are the runes that we can choose from? Oh, they're based on giant ancestries. So you've got hill, fire, frost, cloud, stone, and storm. Interesting. So hill, uh, resilience, reminiscent of a hill giant. While wearing or carrying an object inscribed with this rune, you gain advantages. You gain advantage on saving throws against being poisoned, and you have resistance against poison damage. Okay. Fire rune. When you hit a creature with a weapon attack, you can invoke the rune to summon fiery shackles. Okay. Uh, let's see. Frost rune. Advantage on wisdom, animal handling, and charisma intimidation checks. In addition, you can invoke the rune as a bonus action to increase your strength by 2 for 10 minutes. This can increase your score. This can cause your score to increase beyond 20, but not beyond 30. Okay. Excuse me. Interesting. All right. Um, Whenever you finish a long rest, you can touch a number of objects equal to the number of runes you know, and you inscribe a different rune onto each of the objects. To be eligible, an object must be a weapon, a suit of armor, or a shield. The rune remains on an object until you finish a long rest, and an object can only bear one of your runes. Each time you gain a level in this class, you can replace one rune you know with a different rune. Hmm. For stone, it's a charm? Interesting. Okay. Storm. What does it do? Cannot be surprised. Advantage on intelligence checks. Enter a prophetic state for 1 minute until the state ends. When you or another creature you can see within 60 feet of you makes an attack roll, a saving throw, or an ability check, you can use your reaction to cause the roll to have advantage or disadvantage. Wow. Okay. So for rangers, you have the Swarm Keeper, which is rangers that have a connection uh, to the world that allows them to summon a host of swarming beasts. Hey, Santagoy, thank you for tuning in. Good to see you again. It's been a while. Have you seen the new UA for fighters, rangers, and rogues? That's what I'm going through right now. It's the last topic of the night. I promised at the start of the stream that I wouldn't hold people, too long past 9 o'clock. So you've come at the right time, actually. So we're talking about the Swarm Keepers right now, the new Ranger archetype. We just finished talking about the Rune Knight, which you're basically like buffing your weapons, armor, or shield with runes based on the theme of the giant races. You've been crying watching Evergarden. I've been meaning to check that out on Netflix, but I just never seem to find the time. Um. Anyway, so Swarm Keeper. Um. Okay. Feeling a deep connection to the world around them, some rangers reach out through their magical connection to nature and gather a host of fey spirits. Oh, so they're fey spirits that take the form of bees, buzzing bees, fluttering birds, and so on. Okay. So they're not the actual animals. Swarmkeeper magic. Third level. You learn the Mage Hand cantrip if you don't already know it. When you cast it, the hand takes the form of swarming nature spirits. You also learn an additional spell when you reach certain levels in this class. Okay. These include Fairy Fire, Web, Gaseous Form, Giant Insect, and Insect Plague. Gathered Swarm. So you gather a swarm. As a bonus action, you can agitate it for 1 minute. Some of the swarm clings to your weapons or follows your strikes when you attack. So once during each of your turns, when you hit a creature with a weapon attack, you can deal an extra 1d6 force damage to that creature, and the swarm moves the creature up to 5 feet toward you or away from you. Wow. At 11th level, the extra damage increases to 2d6. This is pretty cool. Rising Tide is a 7th level feature. You can dance part of the swarm into a focused mass that lifts or sweeps you along. So your walking speed increases by 10 feet, and you can disengage as a bonus action. You can climb equal to your walking speed, and you can fly with a speed of 10 feet and can hover. Interesting. Scuttling Eyes. Hmm. Says that You can magically form one of the spirits of your swarm into the shape of a tiny beast of your choice. Oh, it's like for scouting. The last one, excuse me, sorry. The last one is Storm of Minions, which is a 15th level feature. This is Life Drain. Okay. As an action, you create a magical sphere filled with enraged face spirits centered on a point you can see within 120 feet. The sphere has a 10-foot radius and lasts for 1 minute. Okay. The sphere is difficult terrain for creatures other than you, and a player that starts their turn there must make a saving throw. On a failed save, they take 2d8 necrotic and are blinded until the start of its next turn. Dang. Sounds a bit weak though. Oh no, okay. No, you get the you regain hit points when creatures take damage. Wow. On subsequent turns, you can use a bonus action to move the sphere up to 30 feet. Not bad. So at third level, this is for rogues this time. The revived are essentially previously dead. So this life isn't their first, it might not even be their second. Your past life or lives are unclear to you, but you know that you passed through the gates of death, and the powers of death or some other influence wasn't done with you just yet. You might have convinced a deity to let you return to the material plane. Perhaps you signed a deal with a fiend, or maybe you just used an artifact that revived you. Whatever force brought you back, you now know the truth about yourself. You're one of death's representatives among the living. So a lot like the dude in Planescape Torment, I guess. So tokens of past lives is the feature. You remember talents you had in your previous life, and when you finish a long rest, you gain one skill or or two proficiency of your choice. You can replace this proficiency with another when you finish another long rest. Every long rest. Okay. So revive nature. That's not bad. So you have advantage on saving throws against disease and being poisoned. You don't need to eat, drink, or breathe. You don't need to sleep. When you take a long rest, you must spend at least 4 hours, so it's a lot like Elven Trance. Cool. The other third level feature you get is bolts from the grave. You have learned to unleash bolts of necrotic energy. Immediately after you use your cunning action, you may make a ranged. That's so cool. Any cunning action, anything that fits under cunning action. You may make a ranged spell attack against a creature within 30 feet of you, provided you haven't used your sneak attack yet this turn. You're proficient with it, and you add your dexterity bonus modifier to its attack and damage rolls. A creature hit by this takes necrotic damage equal to your sneak attack. This uses your sneak attack for the turn. Okay. And then you can connect to the dead, and so on. Not bad. Huh. Audience with death. When at death's door, you can converse with the powers of death. You have advantage on death saving throws, and whenever you make a death saving throw, your spirit can ask an entity of death a question that can be answered with yes or no. The entity answers truthfully using the knowledge of all those who have died. So GM, essentially DM's decision. Whatever the DM knows. In addition, whenever you have 0 hit points and are healed or stabilized, you can change any of your physical characteristics, personality trait of your personal characteristics, such as personality traits, ideals, bonds, or flaws. Okay? Interesting alternatives. So okay, connect to the dead. You can create a link with a spirit through their corpse. When you do so, you cast a spell Speak with Dead without using a spell slot or material components. Speaking with the dead is in this way temporarily gives you a capability from a past life, and you're unsure whether it's from your past or the spirits. When the spell ends, you gain one random benefit from the revived capabilities table, which include one roll could get you um, learning a new language to speak, read, and write. Another could get you one skill or tool proficiency of your choice, and the third is you gain a proficiency with one saving throw of your choice. Interesting. Okay, so um, yeah, I'm not the most well versed in fifth ed D&D stuff, but I would probably say the one that gets my attention the most is the I think I'd have fun playing the either the Rune Knight or it depends on the party I'm playing with. The Swarm Keeper looks real cool as well. Like I would love to have an animal companion that isn't, you know, like a regular animal companion, but instead like a swarm of bees. That'd be pretty kick-ass and annoying. Sorry. Anyway, um, it's almost 9 o'clock. As I said, I didn't want to, and I wasn't gonna keep you guys too long. This is a pretty quick table talk. We almost didn't have one today, but yeah, the streak goes on. We haven't missed a table talk yet. I think ever. So I didn't want to make that streak go to waste. So here we are with a few of the tidbits that I found kind of interesting from around the tabletop gaming world. Hope you enjoyed this episode of Table Talk. Um, oh, House Forbidden Lands, it was fun. I know you're putting together a West Marches campaign right now. I feel like this is, you know, it's just gonna hit the same spot for you as West Marches. It's very explory. It's very like player, player ambition driven. Not yet. I'll stick around until 9 or a bit past 9 if you guys want to talk. Um, I'm okay with that. I will note though I'm not gonna like you might see some yawns. It's been a pretty long day. I went to the doctor, got this followed up on. Uh, yeah. Thankfully, I'm not gonna need surgery for this hand, but it's gonna stay on my arm for another month, which sucks. I was hoping I could get it off today, but I'm lucky that I don't need surgery. I guess um, people who crash on the road have a lot worse. It can get a lot worse, but I was really hoping I could get the cast off. Like TMI, but these things can get grimy after a while. I've had this on for 2 weeks, and yeah, like I want a proper bath. I want this off so I can, get back to riding my scooter to and from work. It just saves so much money. I've been paying so much on Grab rides these past couple of weeks. Um, yeah. Yeah, Artifice was on stream. He's one of the 4 players we have for that campaign. Hello, by the way. Thank you for tuning in, Artificity. Um, your efforts to be entertaining weren't grating at all. Um, like I think, honestly, I think it's great that all 4 of you are pretty experienced DMs and GMs in your own right. I'm probably the least experienced GM, and I'm the one running the game. That's one of my takeaways. So like I really do owe it to like you guys were great. I gotta say. Oh, a happy anniversary, Buku Buku Cafe. So, and guys, we've mentioned Buku Cafe a bunch of times on stream. That's where you can catch Serpent Sundays. That is, a community effort down south, um, held in SM South Mall. Um, yeah, you can try a bunch of tabletop games there. Um, ask Santagoy to, for information of on to get invited to the appropriate group, uh, messenger group, messenger chat if you're in the south and are looking for tabletop RPGs to play, whether you're new or or not new to the hobby. No problem. It's our pleasure. Like honestly, like we want to shine a spotlight on what people are doing. Oh, okay, so it's D&D for newbies. Okay. So my bad. I thought it was kind of a more it had turned into a more like what varied thing. But okay, D and it's for anyone who wants to give D&D a shot, if you haven't before. So yeah, that's Buku Buku Cafe at SM South Mall. Check it out. Happy anniversary. How many years? First? First year Aniv? 4 years. Wow. Congratulations. That's a lot of work and a lot of service. That is awesome, man. Congratulations, Santagoy. Um, how's it going? How are Serpent Sundays going? Like, are like have there been returnees? Like, have people have a bunch of newbies like gone off and started their own like homebrew campaign, tabletop campaign? Like, how's it been? Also, you've been playing a lot of ESO. Okay. Oh yeah, you were asking about that. I haven't touched ESO yet. You've got regulars na, and these are people who are new to D&D. I'm guessing who've discovered it through Serpent Sundays, and have found like mind, um, others in the same boat. That's nice. Do you have like requirements for DMs? Yeah, okay. I was getting to that. Like the next step is to introduce folks to GMing for newbies. Do you have like maybe people who watch this, someone who watches this will be, like he's a GM or DM looking to learn how to do that, or just or want an experienced person, an experienced DM or GM who wants to bring more people into the hobby as well. Like, are you guys look? Is it like an open call to GMs? Artificity says some of the players don't show up at Buku Buku but have continued playing at their own tables elsewhere. It would be nice to have them always stay at the same place, but the goal is to get people started and then let them fly where they will. That's true. Like the fact that they're doing it on their own is such a independently. That's pretty big. That's pretty big, I'd say, because they've obviously learned the game or are willing to put or have fallen for the game hard enough that they're willing to put in the effort to do it themselves. And that's pretty awesome. Santagoy, get in touch with Pam um about having yourself included on this roster, this database of Filipino tabletop RPG designers on uh playwithoutapology.com. Because you were part of the Session Zero convention too, right? As a game designer, you should put your stuff up on here. I mean, it's just a landing page for the. It's a bit of a, I, yeah, it's a roster of local game designers. Most of these, if not all of them, I think all of them, all of the people here were part of Session Zero. So you should be here too. Get in contact with these people. Put your stuff up on this article. Oh, is that so? Like, okay, some time off. Okay, all right. I understand. I can understand that. No worries. You need to recoup your mental health. Yeah, it can be taxing. Yeah, working on, a long-term project can be intense. I can I can relate to that. No, don't worry. Sometimes it's about, I guess also this thing like designing an RPG can feel very uh like isolated, right? It's mostly you and with your ideas. That's yeah. You can it's not the act that it's not the fault of the act of design. Okay. It's external then. Okay. For those of you watching who didn't know, like Santagoy was also one of the game designers we featured here on Dicecast at the Session Zero Game Design Roundtable specials. You can check those out in our video history, video archive over on Facebook and YouTube. I believe he was in the first or second one. Or no, the third one. You were in the last one, right, Santagoy? The third one. In general, you feel like you need to take care of yourself before and then get back into designing. Okay, yeah, yeah. You know, uh, self care first, always. RPG game design. Did I say RPG game design? Sorry, RPG design. Oh, you were in the second with Pam. Okay. And welcome to the stream, Clive Conception. Thank you for liking the video on Facebook and joining us over in chat. It's a pleasure to have you over. We just finished like the list of topics we had on today's docket. Um, but if you're on Facebook, you can just scroll up to the first comments. You'll see the roster of today's of the news items we put up today, and you can check out the links there in case any of them interest you. Personally, the biggest one for me was this Homeworld, Homeworld the RPG, Homeworld called Homeworld Revelations, being designed by Modifius. Holy shit! I am so. This is wonderful. What a time to be alive, man. Like I cannot gush enough about this Homeworld as an RTS, and also the thing about Homeworld is, and um, I don't know, like yeah, this came out in 1999. I'm sure like a lot of people, you know, are I don't know how old you are, but I'm just gonna throw it out there. A lot of people my age remember this game. Um, it's it's so good. Like it was such a leap forward in terms of gameplay, in terms of in terms of UI, in terms of music. The score of this game is crazy good. I still listen to it just for the heck of it. The backgrounds, like, and the cinematics that look like paintings. Um, oh my god, the transition, the first game, like the that moment where it transitions from cinematic to the 3D engine is so um was so awe-inspiring. I didn't mind restarting single player campaign just because I could get to relive that moment over and over. This is such a good game. And then I was getting to this, but like the game manual, yeah, everything about this, like for the 90s game that it was like a super good product. For 1999. Um, but I like one of my when I got my hands on the game manual. That was because I had started playing RPGs like Legend of the Five Rings, and then in the manual you actually have these different clans, these different um, houses or families in the of the Higarans, which are the race you play and the protagonists that you play as in the game, and it felt like the different like clans of Alfevar, Lion Clan, Crane Clan, the Akodo, the Doji, and so on. Because each like house or each family had um had their specialties. Like the ones I remember, the House of Sajet were, yeah, the scientists basically, and so that's why it's Karen Sajet who masterminds this plan of putting the mothership together, um, and then uh, there is this other like it just started to make sense what is happening in game because you meet up with this other with these other ships, and then their family names start to make sense because like what their houses are known for, that's their role in the game. So the world, like had always felt to me like it was just um like the manual felt to me like it was just 100 pages of game system away from being an actual RPG, an actual tabletop RPG. And now it's making the jump to being a full on tabletop RPG. And I am so stoked for this. I'm so excited. There's only Crane, all other houses are superfluous. Yeah, sure. Phoenix forever. Yeah, this is an exciting. I'm so excited for this. I wonder if there are more comments. Still just two. Okay. But yeah, this is the official website of the RPG. That's modifius.com/homeworld where you can sign up for the newsletter. Um, yeah. So the RPG will trace the steps of the original PC game that came out in 1999. So it is is it Taidan or Kushan? Like who are they fighting? I forget. Yeah, fire chickens represent. I used to be such a big fan in the old versions of L5R. I used to be such a big fan of the Shiba because Shiba Bushi are insane. Like being able to spend as much void as you wanted on like from the get go was such an underrated ability. They were crazy. Yeah, they're also known for making the most recent Star Trek RPG. and which has been getting rave reviews. How are you finding it? Are you enjoying it, Clive? Um, oh, in particular, like I mentioned this early in the stream, like there are a few RPGs that caught my attention. Because in this game, in Homeworld Revelations, you play as the crew of like one of the smaller ships. So you will not be fleet command in Homeworld Revelations. Instead, I guess you can choose between like being the crew of um maybe perhaps most commonly a frigate. I don't know if it'll go down to being the crew of a fighter squadron or up to the crew of being like the crew of what or a corvette or even like a capital ship. Probably frigate or corvette actually. So yeah, you don't play as fleet command. So I was saying that like a couple of games that caught my attention on how to play as the crew of a ship were Coriolis and Stars Without Number. And then I kind of wondered aloud about because I knew Modifius also made uh, a Star Trek RPG. So I wondered like what is ship combat like? Like how does that game represent being part of a crew? Of a ship for comparison's sake. It was hard for you to DM. Which one? Star Trek or L5R? Star Trek Adventures. Oh, interesting. What like if you don't mind sharing, we'll be ending the stream in a bit. We'll probably end on that. Yeah. Like what about Star Trek Adventures um made it hard to DM or GM? Like a bit of a mini review by uh one of our guests in chat. What made Star Trek Adventures difficult to run? A lot of fiddly bits. And my interest was a bit waning. Mm, that's true. Discovery, I feel like Discovery. The first season was pretty fun. I really enjoyed the first season of Star Trek Discovery. The second, I kind of lost interest after the first handful of episodes. I might pick it up again, but yeah, like it hasn't captured the imagination as much as I would say something like The Expanse, which also came out with its own RPG that people like really and like I think a lot more people were like in the mental space to kind of take on an Expanse RPG that was that may also like I don't know like how crunchy or how narrative that game was, but like people are more I think people would have been more uh would have been more forgiving of that game just because it was more it had more I don't want to say the word hype, but it had more momentum. They were stretching the realism too much in the second season of yeah it's just I don't know. I did like the first one it wasn't too realistic. And come on, it's kind of OP to have a starship that can just pop up anywhere. in the galaxy or the universe. That's a bit OP, but they handled it well. Like um I like the it was a balancing act for it to not get too ridiculous. But I think they uh they did it well in the first season. The second one, yeah, I guess it's a bit it's not as realistic, but also uh it's just I guess it lost a bit of steam. In the first one, you just kept going from, you know, it just the narrative just kept getting pushed forward. Yeah, okay, but not great for the first season of Discovery. Okay, I get that. Way too many discussions on Discord about on regarding Discovery. All right, no worries. I'm gonna end the stream here anyway. Just wanted to get an opinion on yeah, Star Trek Adventures. About yeah, like what you know, playing as a crew could be like there. If you're curious about other sci-fi RPGs, Clive, I would really recommend starts out number one, Coriolis, which is a bit darker than Star Trek. It like I think the blurb on the box is Arabian Nights in space, so it's like it's not hardcore sci-fi, and but it's not quite space fantasy either. But it is inspired by like the mystery and the um like the unfathomable dark of things like yeah, Arabian Nights. Yeah, I can check that out. Also, Stars Without Number is another really good sci-fi like space opera RPG. Um, it's a bit more hex crawly, more procedural, more old school than Coriolis, but it's also worth checking out because in my opinion, uh, there are some fiddly bits, but it's the trade-off is that you have a a ship crew, like a system for playing as the crew of a ship that makes sure everyone is involved. Like it can feel a bit like a relay race at times, like where you're passing the baton to the next player, and like that baton could have like like it could be just a normal baton or a baton with like extra doodads added onto it. Um, but it's like that, and the anyone who takes on the role of the captain or the commander of the crew just has a say, I guess, in uh yeah, in like planning how that baton gets passed around. It's such a poor analogy. I don't know why I launched it into it in the first place, but I hope you get a bit of an idea. And if you eventually read it, I hope I'm not too far off from that. From the word vomit I just spewed all over this stream. Um, anyway, if that's any insight into the mental state that I've got right now, yeah, it's been a long day. Like I said, went to the doctor, got this checked out, worked a bit in the afternoon. So yeah, it's getting late. I have work later. I have to get up real early. So I'm gonna bid you guys a good night. Thank you to those of you who came in and kept me company in chat. So Lance and Sarah, um, who are like also members of Dicecast. Thank you for dropping by early on and sharing the stream. Santagoy and Artificity, like you guys pretty much pretty much regulars, and thank you again for tuning in. I know this wasn't at a regular hour for Table Talk, but yeah, maybe next week we'll be back at the 12 o'clock slot. And Clive Concepcion, who is who I want to say thank you for liking our video on Facebook and tuning in, and yeah, like being a good sport in chat. Thank you for the conversation. Yeah, good night. Good night to you. Good night to all of you. If you like what this is so far, like support us by following us on Facebook, or your platform of choice. If you prefer to watch stuff on Twitch or YouTube, follow us there. We're also on Twitter. You can check out updates and stuff. We usually post that on Twitter, IG, and Facebook. We have this Monday stream. Table Talk is weekly, where we do a kind of a little personal roundup of what you found interesting from the past week in the tabletop games niche or industry. Um, but we also do whatever Wednesdays. That's usually JP streaming whatever the hell he's interested in, whether it's designing um, D&D 5e Monster Hunter hack or playing, retro RPGs, RPG, uh, video game RPGs, um, and stuff. There's that to look forward to. And our next episode of the Forbidden Lands campaign is on November 2. So check us out then. Um, or check out the first episode over in our archives on Facebook. Well, right now it's also on Twitch and on YouTube. Good night. Uh, have a great week ahead, and we'll see you around online. So, with that, I am gonna play you guys the outro, and yeah, thank you. Love the game, but love each other more. See you around. Bye.